Hey folks, JR, back for another episode of Echoes of Shannon Street Case File. It's going to be episode 104, Attempt an Officer Rescue. Alright folks, we're going to continue to go through the Tact Unit's After Action memo. If you recall from the last episode, Summers and Cockrell, the Tact Unit, had heard Hester screaming and obvious signs that he was being beaten. So what we're going to cover today is a little meeting with the director and some of the command staff about what to do about the hostage being beaten. Alright folks, we're going to pick up at the third paragraph, the paragraph at the very bottom of the page. Director Holt, Deputy Director Williams, and Captain Music went to the listening post, and shortly thereafter a meeting was held in the Tact command post to consider what action, if any, to take immediately. This meeting was attended by the following people: Director Holt, Deputy Director Williams, Chief Inspector J.D. Moore, Captain Music, Captain Hasty, Lieutenant Pugh, Sergeants Huff, Fields, Captain Randall, and there may have been other TAC officers in and out as we discussed the obstacles, plan for the officer rescue, and other variables to be considered should we attempt an officer rescue. According to information known at that time, the perpetrators inflicted blows to, you would think, with the information they have in front of them, this would be a very short meeting regarding whether to go in and rescue the hostage or not. Just a matter of the director saying do it. TAC unit would have taken care of it. Okay, folks, picking up on the next page, they were discussing the blows being inflicted on Officer Hester. When the negotiator inquired as to his welfare, now of course that sentence was broken up by the page change, but basically what they're saying is that every time the negotiators would ask about Officer Hester, the Sanders and the other members inside the house would beat Officer Hester. So that's what that sentence is talking about. It was decided that the negotiators would cease to inquire about his welfare, and when they did, the blows inside stopped. The decision was made to continue to try to negotiate and establish some type of dialogue. Well, there's another way you could have. The blows would have ceased and that would have been gone in and rescued him, but I guess they're just going to wait them out till their arms get tired of beating on Bobby Hester. Now it's interesting here because they don't discuss, and you'll never see anything in writing about any minutes that were recorded about who said what, who was for and against going in to rescue Bobby Hester. And in fact, when the director spends so much time at the news conference talking about his command staff going along with them on everything that they did, he never goes into who was against it. Was there one voice in the room saying we need to go in? No, J.D. Moore was wanting to go in. He's former TAC commander. But anyways, I didn't know if you caught that or not, but just notice that there's no minutes being recorded as to what the vote was, who said what, who was for going in. And that's ridiculous. It has to come down to that. All right, Captain Music telephoned Lieutenant Quinn at his residence at 4 a.m. Lieutenant Quinn was to call his men in early and report to Tact Command Post. Also, he was to contact Patrolman D.C. Hubbard and R.J. Shelton, Tact officers off duty. Lieutenant Quinn and his entire shift, plus officers Hubbard and Shelton, reported to the command post at 5:45 a.m. Captain Music, Lieutenant Pugh, and Lieutenant Quinn, along with Quinn's shift, then had a meeting to brief the new arrivals and give assignments. Situation was now in the 9th hour, and it was decided relief of the personnel assigned to 2243 Shannon should be made, and an alternate assault team should be readied. Now that 2243, that's the house on the east side. All right, Patrolman P.E. Hale was assigned the alternate assault team leader. Now that's Philip Hale, his son Corey. We went through the academy together. Corey is real sharp. He knew his stuff. He was a good policeman, and they said his daddy was sharp as a tack too. Members of the team were Patrolman Hale, R.T. Easley, F.E. Bartlett, P.E. Long, and J.N. Filsinger. The team was instructed to meet with the primary assault team, share information, and form their assault plan. Lieutenant Quinn and Patrolman M.E. Cheslock got the chalkboard out of the TAC van and diagrammed the positions of all TAC unit personnel. During the hours subsequent to the hostage situation, Sergeant Fields gathered information regarding interior design of the house located at 2239 Shannon. This was in addition to the information already gathered upon arrival of the TAC unit. And folks, that's pretty important to know the layout of that house, how many rooms, doorways, etc., etc. The TAC unit obviously needs to know that, because if they have to make entry, they want to know how they need to go. All right. For a number of hours, nothing significantly occurred, causing any tactical movements to be made or plans to be altered. The TAC command continued to monitor and do those things necessary to keep the TAC officers in readiness so that they might function as quickly as possible should an emergency arise. This would include rotating personnel and providing food and rest. Cap Music met with Lieutenant Pugh and Quinn Wednesday, January 12, 1983 in the afternoon. It was decided with the staff approval, utilities would be disconnected into the house as soon as it was safe by cover of darkness. Cap Music met with members of the staff and informed them of this request, and it was approved. Shortly after nightfall, January 12, 1983, the electricity and gas was disconnected to the house at 2239 Shannon by members of the TAC unit. Inspector Don Lewis, negotiation commander, approached Lieutenant Quinn 10:30 p.m. January 12, 1983, and reported a listening device was available from the CBS and requested the TAC unit put the microphone in place. It was felt with this microphone it would increase our intelligence gathering capabilities in the event of the imminent officer rescue assault. Yeah, that would have been nice. It was also anticipated perhaps on hearing sounds from the injured officer. Then, too, there was really no concrete evidence still at this stage of the siege as to exactly how many perpetrators were inside. We felt at least 4, but thought perhaps as many as 7. They're pretty straight on with that number. Cap Music met with Lieutenant Pugh and Sergeant Huff, and the decision was made to place the microphone through a window on the east side of the perpetrator's house. Now, the east side of the house, if you're facing the house, that'd be on the left-hand side. That would be the side closest to 2243 Shannon. The assignment was given to Patrolman Gallo. After 20 minutes of listening to the sounds inside the house, it was determined another microphone was needed on the west side of the house. Organized crime was called, and Sergeant Jim Kellum provided the necessary equipment. Patrolman Gallo also placed this microphone through a window on the west side of the perpetrator's house. And if you recall from the statements we've taken and other information I gave out in prior episodes, you're familiar with Sergeant Kellum and his work with the listening device. I know a lot of this information can be kind of dry, these memos, but if you look at these memos that are written and you start comparing them to actions taken and things said by the director, it's really amazing what you can find out about what seems to be accurate information and what seems to be a smokescreen. I thoroughly believe the director was being disingenuous with the media and the public as a whole in terms of how this operation was handled. It's pretty obvious, I think, to anyone what the problem was. It's just sad that the people that had any say over going in didn't really care. All right, folks, that's going to wrap up this episode. We will come back in a few days and go to the next episode and carry on from there. We've probably got maybe one more episode with the TAC unit's memos, but I'm just telling you folks, you really need to look over this memo as I'm giving it out and go back and look at some other information. I think it'll be an eye-opener. Well, all right, folks, I do appreciate y'all. And as always, I will see you down the road.